English feels easy in the moments where nothing is expected from you. When you are alone, when you are watching, listening, or reading, everything seems to fall into place without effort. Words connect, meanings appear naturally, and your brain moves smoothly from one idea to another. In those moments, it almost feels like you have already crossed the difficult part. You are no longer struggling to understand, no longer stuck on basic sentences, no longer confused by simple conversations. It creates a quiet belief inside you that you are ready, that you are finally at a level where English should not be a problem anymore. But then reality interrupts that belief in the most unexpected way. A real conversation begins. Someone asks you something simple, and suddenly, the comfort disappears. The same language that felt so easy just moments ago becomes difficult, unstable, and uncertain. Your thoughts hesitate, your mind slows down, and the connection between what you know and what you can say starts breaking apart in real time. What makes this experience even more frustrating is that the knowledge does not actually disappear. You can still feel it somewhere inside your mind. You recognize the words, you understand the structure, you even know what you want to say. But there is a gap between intention and expression, and that gap feels impossible to cross in that moment. It is not a lack of intelligence, and it is not a lack of effort. It is something deeper, something more psychological than linguistic. Because the problem is not in your understanding of English. The problem is in how your brain reacts when it is required to perform under pressure. And performance changes everything. It transforms a simple act of communication into something that feels like a test, something that feels like it can be judged, something that carries consequences beyond just the words you are trying to say. In that moment of pressure, your brain does not remain neutral. It becomes highly active, but not in the way you need. Instead of calmly forming sentences, it starts evaluating, analyzing, and predicting outcomes. It questions your grammar, your pronunciation, your choice of words, and even the reaction of the person in front of you. This internal dialogue happens extremely fast, almost instantly, and it creates a kind of mental noise that interferes with your ability to think clearly. The more you try to control it, the stronger it becomes. You begin to overthink, and overthinking slows everything down. What should have been a simple response turns into a complex process, and by the time you are ready to speak, the moment has already passed. This is where the real issue begins to reveal itself. The difficulty is not in the language itself, but in the conditions under which you are trying to use it. When you are relaxed, your brain operates efficiently. It processes information smoothly and retrieves words without effort. But when pressure is introduced, your brain shifts into a different mode. It becomes cautious, protective, and focused on avoiding mistakes rather than expressing ideas. This shift is automatic. It is part of how the human brain is designed to function. It prioritizes safety over performance, and in a social situation, making a mistake can feel like a threat to your confidence or your image. So your brain tries to protect you by limiting risk, and the simplest way to reduce risk is to reduce output. In other words, it chooses silence. This silence is often misunderstood. People assume that it means they do not know enough, that they need to study more, learn more vocabulary, improve their grammar. But the truth is that knowledge alone does not solve this problem. You can have a large vocabulary and still struggle to speak. You can understand complex sentences and still hesitate in a simple conversation. Because speaking is not just about knowing words, it is about accessing them quickly, organizing them efficiently, and delivering them confidently, all under pressure. And if your brain has not been trained for that kind of task, it will struggle regardless of how much you know. The way most people learn English actually contributes to this problem. They focus heavily on input. They watch videos, listen to podcasts, read books, and repeat sentences. These activities improve understanding, and they are important, but they do not prepare your brain for real-time communication. They do not simulate the pressure of a live conversation. They do not train your brain to respond instantly. As a result, you develop strong recognition skills but weak production skills. You can recognize correct sentences, but you struggle to create them on demand. This imbalance creates the illusion that you are ready when you are not. Another critical factor is the role of fear. Fear does not always appear as something obvious. It can be subtle, hidden behind hesitation and overthinking. But it has a powerful effect on your brain. When you feel even a small amount of anxiety, your brain activates a stress response. This response is designed to help you deal with threats, not to help you communicate effectively. It reduces your ability to think creatively and access complex information. It simplifies your thinking, which is useful in dangerous situations but not in conversations. That is why your mind feels blank. It is not empty. It is restricted. Your brain is limiting access to information in order to protect you. Breaking out of this pattern requires a shift in how you approach learning and practice. You need to move from passive understanding to active expression. This means creating situations where you are required to produce language, not just consume it. Speaking out loud becomes essential. It forces your brain to connect thoughts with words in real time. It builds the pathways that are necessary for fluent communication. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. You will make mistakes. You will pause. But this is part of the process. Every time you push through that discomfort, you are training your brain to handle pressure better. It is also important to reduce the dependency on translation. Thinking in your native language and then converting it into English adds an extra step that slows you down. Instead, you need to start forming thoughts directly in English, even if they are simple. This reduces the load on your brain and allows for faster responses. It is not about complexity. It is about clarity and speed. The more direct your thinking becomes, the easier it is to speak. Another powerful method is gradual exposure to pressure. If your problem appears in high-pressure situations, you cannot avoid pressure completely. You need to experience it in controlled ways. Start by speaking alone, then recording yourself, then speaking in front of a camera, and eventually engaging in real conversations. Each step increases the level of pressure slightly, allowing your brain to adapt. Over time, what once felt overwhelming becomes manageable. Your brain learns that speaking is not a threat, and the stress response becomes weaker. Confidence grows as a result of action, not before it. Waiting to feel confident before speaking will only delay progress. You build confidence by speaking, by making mistakes, by continuing despite discomfort. Each small success reinforces your ability, and over time, these small successes accumulate into a strong sense of confidence. This confidence reduces fear, and, as fear decreases, your ability to access words improves. It is a cycle that you control through consistent practice. As you continue this process, you will notice gradual changes. The pauses become shorter, the hesitation decreases. You start forming sentences more quickly. You still make mistakes, but they do not stop you. You recover faster, adjust your sentences, and keep going. This is where real progress happens. Not in perfect sentences, but in continuous communication. This is where English stops being something you learn and starts becoming something you use. In the end, the reason English feels easy until speech breaks is not because the language suddenly becomes difficult. It is because the conditions change. Understanding happens in comfort. Speaking happens under pressure. And if you train your brain only in comfort, it will struggle under pressure. But if you train it in both, the gap disappears. You begin to carry your understanding into real situations, and speaking becomes a natural extension of what you already know. So the next time you find yourself in that moment where everything starts to break, remember that it is not failure. It is a signal that your brain needs a different kind of training. Do not avoid that moment. Step into it. Speak, even if it is imperfect, because every time you do, you are strengthening the connection between thought and speech, and eventually, that connection becomes strong enough that it no longer breaks, no matter how much pressure you face.